Vibes. I'm Tudor, Creation Rebel sound system and part of Channel 1 sound system stable. We're here down with JV8 in the village, Brixton village, talking all things business, music and culture. This shop's been around for many years, 30, 40 years. It's changed hands quite a few times, as has everything now in Brixton. Been through, originally we had Alton Ellis' son, Dean. His picture's on the wall there. His son was running this, was called All-Tone Records. It had the 3 shops all in a row and a nice little coffee shop at the end. That was all his for a period of time. And then we had another guy called Simon ran the shop before us, and now we have the owner is Matt alongside Ben, so those two guys are in charge of the business here. Records is quite interesting. Obviously we know that since the CDs come in the early 2000s, it took a proper dive. So we were one of, and still are, one of the last remaining record shops around in London, and we specialise in reggae, so that makes us a little bit different to everyone else. Obviously with COVID we had to shut, but it was not a bad start again. You know, people suddenly realising that they want to actually keep their record collections going, maybe start a new one, and improve the setup that they have at home. So that's been great, but we also have a lot of people that pass through from Europe. So sound system, and especially Brixton here, is kind of the centre of the roots reggae scene. And they don't necessarily have so many shops in Europe, so we do great when people come to London for the dances, to come to Brixton, to experience a real roots reggae night in London, and we'll often pass through the shop. And that's obviously been a little bit curtailed over the last few months, so we're there, we're still online, but we want people to be coming into the shop and really, you know, what you can find here is different to what you can find online. So it's worth digging basically. Everything we have here is reggae. We start all the way from the 60s, ska, rocksteady, blue beat. There's even a little bit of tiny touch of soul, and we go right the way through. You know, all the pioneers like Lee Scratch Perry, the 70s. Over on this side we have all the 7-inch records. We go all the way, as you said, 60s, 70s, we cover the digital period, which was the 80s, and that was a massive change in the reggae scene, and all the way up to the present day, really. All flavours for everyone. If you are a reggae fan and you come here and you don't find anything, then something's a little bit wrong, I think. We have branched out into the merchandise. We've got our own t-shirts. We're sort of, which are over here. I'll take this out. We've got the Line Vibes t-shirts, which are great. We try and support a lot of the local industry in Brixton as well, and have and from Jamaica as well, like the Rockers t-shirts. We have got our own record label, which has been going for quite a long time, and have slightly branched off into what they call a polyvinyl release series at the moment, which is going really well. So we do limited edition batches, which are sort of specially tailored for sound system enthusiasts. So we have 2 of those out and a 3rd one on the way this month. So there's plenty going on. We're busy, and yeah, our music and other people's music and everything really. What we've done is partner up with my sound system, Creation Rebel. So we split the label between Creation Rebel and Line Vibes. And yeah, that's just the music that we're bringing out on the label of this style is particularly suited to sound system amplified music. It's geared up for the sound system selector really, which we can differentiate from maybe some of the more general releases which come on a bigger batch. And yeah, we're sort of promoting artists that maybe aren't quite so well known, but are well known within the scene, and focusing on high quality music. But yeah, I started off about 10-12 years ago as a selector. I was with Channel 1 sound system, who many people know. I was a box man at the young age of 17, and slowly, and you know, just getting together a good record collection, experience, learning about equipment, learning how to promote yourself, which is probably one of the most important things because you are your own agent at the end of the day. Yeah, just really gearing up to knowing what it takes to actually build, run, maintain and play on a sound system. So that took quite a few years. 2 years ago I got all the equipment together, and yeah, we got a lot of some of the old Channel 1's boxes and equipment and other bits which I was fortunate enough to find at the time. Put it all together, and about 2 years ago we started doing sessions, which was for me the fulfillment of life, because it's one thing to play records, but another thing to play records on your own sound system, and to take that around the country. And we were booked to go and play abroad in Belgium, and then COVID hit, so things were starting to get, you know, things were starting to move quickly and nicely, and we're just on a little pause with the sound system at the moment. Still out and about playing records, but as we know, we have this crazy decibel level, whatever your instruction or whatever you want to call it, a law in the loosest terms. So the whole music scene is on a little bit of a pause at the moment. Music still comes out, but we don't have bands coming together in studio spaces. We don't have music being promoted or played by the artists themselves or by the sound systems like us. So it's an interesting time to see where it's going to develop over the next year. We're just really hoping we can get back to where we were as soon as possible, without losing too many of the venues and maybe some of the expectations and freedoms that we have playing music at the moment. It's not easy in London before the lockdown, but I can imagine it's probably going to get even more difficult over the next year or two. So we're just kind of, yeah, waiting to see what's going to happen. So live streaming is not really, for me, the answer to anything. I really don't enjoy doing that particularly. I don't watch other people doing it particularly. I'm not really into the whole digital expression of the music. It's like, you know, putting your food back in the microwave and heating it up a little bit. It's sort of not quite the cooked dinner that you really wanted. It's half the job. You can't recreate atmosphere, and you can't recreate. This music is meant and built to be played at a frequency and a level that reaches somewhere deeper than you can ever experience listening off a live Facebook link. It's quite hard to really put into, unless you've really been to a dance, it's quite hard for you to really put that into words. But essentially, without trying to get too deep, what they're essentially going to be doing is just breaking down the normality of people going to somewhere in a community spirit to listen to something that is essentially uplifting. And it's that vibrational connection with the music you can't get anywhere else than in a dance. Now, the reality is that many of these venues are going to be closing over the next 12 months because of all the industries. The one that has had the least support has been the music industry and the entertainment industry. So, you know, it's all very well keeping a few pubs open, which are in really residential areas, which are never going to let music come back anyway. But it's another thing holding together some of these venues that have been going around for longer than I've been alive, that hold, you know, that are really important cultural hubs. It's not just people going to get drunk and listening to music. With reggae, it's a community where people know each other, they understand the music, the message, the culture that goes behind it. And the worrying thing for me is, if that gets lost, it's very hard to bring back. It was already getting lost in this country. That's why reggae is, and sound system is Europe focused at the moment. Festivals, nights, even new sound systems starting are not really happening in the UK. So if you're going to be a pessimist, you're going to say it's the end. And if people can get it together and put pressure on the government to restart as soon as possible, then maybe we have a future here. But it's looking really uncertain for sure. But they feed into the other, you know, the record shop feeds into the, you know, it's vice versa. So the record shop can't survive without the sound systems, and the sound systems can't survive without, I mean, without people distributing the music. So those two are key, and they're tied together. If you can keep both going, great. But we're going to have to see where we get to in the next 6 months. It's going to be pretty difficult, I reckon. Yeah, cheers, Josh. Yeah, so you can find, so we're in the shop here. Feel free to pop in anytime. We're in Brixton Village, the Coldharbour Lane side. We're open 7 days a week from 11 o'clock in the morning till 6 every day. So that's where you can find us here. You can also go online, lionvibeshop.com. We have a vintage section for all the serious collectors that want their originals. And we also have we cover all the new stuff as well. So there's two separate bits of the website, really easy to use. My sound system, Creation Rebel, you can find us online. Creation Rebel Sound System. We are on Instagram, Facebook, and we are playing at Brixton Jam with Channel 1, Sunday, November the 1st. That's in the afternoon, socially distanced affair. But it is what it is, and we're glad to play music and very humbled to be there.